Hey, it's Lori with Nelson Farms. I want to show you guys how you can grow lentils, sprout them out, and feed them to your chickens. It's a great snack, full of protein, and they'll love it. So I just grabbed a bag of lentils at Publix, and I've poured some in a couple of canning jars that I have. And I just put about that much in there. I've already got water in this one, but just about that much in there to get started. So pour your lentils in a mason jar, and then I like to just get an old used mason jar top, like the lid, and poke some holes in it. And that way we can rinse these off a few times and get them, make sure they're good and clean before we start the process. So here they are. I've kind of mixed them up a little bit, and then we're just gonna drain off all that water. And we're gonna do this process a couple of times just to make sure that they're good and clean. You can do this another way. It's just easy to do it this way. Get all that water off, and then we'll do that again. So this is the second rinse. I'm just going to rinse them around good. And again, just drain that off in the sink. And that way you're starting with good, clean lentils. And my goal, I'm gonna start them like this, but I'm gonna move them into the trays that we used to seed our tomato plants, because I want to be able to just like serve them to the chickens in the big tray rather than pull them out of the jar. You can do this whole process in a jar, but it's, to me, if you have a lot of chickens, like more than a handful, it can get tedious like using the jars. So we're starting in the jar and we're going to move over to the trays. So these are good and clean. I'm just gonna add water to about half full. The actual lentils are gonna really absorb the water overnight and expand. So these are gonna expand. We'll check back in tomorrow and see how they are. But for overnight, I just put a paper towel over this and a rubber band around it, and just leave them like this sitting overnight. So we'll check back in the morning, see how they are. I do not put them in direct sunlight. I'll probably just set them in the pantry. There's a little bit of light, but not a lot. And I'm gonna do the same exact thing to this jar. So I'm leaving them right here in the pantry. So here the lentils are the next morning. We let them soak overnight. So what I'm gonna do now is give them a good rinse and then lay them out on this big tray. So here are those rinsed lentils. They're good and clean. We're just gonna spread them out on the tray. And I'm doing the same thing with the second jar. So they're clean, they're rinsed, and I actually did poke some holes in the black tray so that any water would soak through to this clear top on the bottom. I just folded the top under the bottom like that. That way, water doesn't sit in here and cause mold. And then I'm gonna actually put this on it just like you would if you were doing tomato seeds. This is just gonna help keep the moisture in and help them grow. So it's gonna look like this, and I'm gonna set that not in the sun overnight, and every morning I'm gonna check it out and I'll show you in the morning what we're gonna do with it. So I'm just storing mine up on the top shelf in the pantry, so they'll be out of the light, out of the sunlight, and we'll check them every morning. So say too, we soaked the lentils overnight, and then I put them in this tray overnight, and they were in the pantry, and I'm gonna show you what they look like today. They are already sprouting. And I think I told you guys, but I poked some holes in the bottom of this, so To rinse them and drain them is gonna be super easy. I'm gonna rinse them with the water and just leave them in the sink and let them drain good. And then I'm gonna set it back in one of the tops of the trays just to catch any drippings as they're in the pantry. It's day 3. These are looking good. So I'm gonna rinse them, and it's hard to do without. Okay, here we go. Rinse them and drain them. And check on them again tomorrow. Day 4. Day 5. It's day 6, and I would say these are ready to go out to the chickens. I'm going to probably take them out tomorrow. I do want to show you one more thing. The more days that you do this, the rinsing and the draining, the easier it gets, because as these lentils are growing, they're kind of sticking together in the tray. So see, when I pour off the excess water, nothing's falling out of that tray. It gets a lot easier. So I'm going to let them sit overnight. We'll feed them to the chickens tomorrow. I got a plate full of lentils. Let's see how they like it. Of our 30 chickens, this is the only one that showed any interest in the lentils until I made a change. Here's what I did. Instead of setting the whole tray down in the coop, I pulled out these big clumps of lentils and threw them down in the coop. And then, as you can see, the chickens showed plenty of interest that way. I don't know why, but they wouldn't have anything to do with that tray. They just wanted them thrown down like this. Hope that was helpful. We'll see y'all next time.